Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Aishwarya Balap. In this video, we are going to discuss about attenuated total reflectance, which is a sampling technique in IR spectroscopy. Before starting with actual attenuated total reflectance, first we will see why this technique has been invented. So, due to few disadvantages of conventional sampling techniques, like liquid cells need to be filled without air bubbles and are not easy to clean. So we had discussed in previous video about the liquid sampling, where the liquid should be placed in between two salt plates with a uniform layer, thin layer. So this thin layer should be without air bubble, and this cleaning of these liquid cells is difficult. KBr is hygroscopic, hence not easy to handle and to store. Normally, whenever the pellet formation or other techniques are there, there you require KBr. So it is hygroscopic in nature. So you require some more conditions to store the KBr and other things to keep moisture away from KBr. So that is also one of the limitation. A good KBr pellet is difficult to make. It is time consuming and requires a special toolkit including a hydraulic press. So preparation of the pellet is a skilled job for which you require a skilled person, and also it is difficult to make with the help of hydraulic press. Too much sample in a pellet will result in total absorption. So if the pellet becomes, or the sample in the pellet is more, so at that time total absorption will take place and you will not get the transmitted light or radiation. Handling and measurement of the KBr pellets itself requires skill. Homogenization of sample and KBr is for some substances like rubbers or other elastomers is hard to achieve. The making and measurement of a suitable KBr pellet are time consuming and only experienced operators will get good results. In many cases, the pellet will be turbid and the baseline of the resulting spectrum will drift due to the influence of the resulting stray light. Furthermore, the possibility of interactions between the polar KBr and the sample has to be mentioned, because that possibility is also there, that KBr, which is polar in nature, may also react with the sample. In order to overcome these disadvantages of KBr pellets and liquid cells, nowadays IR measurements are mainly performed in ATR, that is attenuated total reflection mode, as this technique is much more comfortable to use than the conventional transmission mode. All types of samples, for example, solids, liquids, powders, pastes, pellets, slurries, and fibers, etc., are placed undiluted on the ATR crystal. The measurement then is typically performed within seconds. So, what do you mean by attenuated total reflectance? Attenuation means reduction in the total reflectance. So, attenuated total reflectance is one of the most commonly used sampling techniques in recent times. The great advantage of ATR is the possibility to measure a wide variety of solid and liquid samples without any complex sample preparation. When an IR beam travels from a medium of high refractive index, for example, zinc selenide crystal, to a medium of low refractive index, that will be your organic sample, some amount of the light is reflected back into the low refractive index medium. At a particular angle of incidence, almost all of the light waves are reflected back. This phenomenon is called total internal reflection. The ATR crystal consists of an IR transparent material with a high refractive index and has polished surfaces. The infrared beam enters the ATR crystal at an angle of typically 45 degrees relative to the crystal surface and is totally reflected at the crystal to sample interface. Due to its wave-like properties, the light is not reflected directly on the boundary surface but by a virtual layer within the optically less dense sample. The fraction of the light wave that reaches into the sample is called the evanescent wave. Its, its penetration depth is depending on the wavelength, the refractive indices of ATR crystal and sample, and the angle of entering light beam. Typically, it amounts to a few microns, that is 0.5 to 3 micrometer. In those spectral regions where the sample absorbs energy, the evanescent wave will be attenuated. So, when the absorption will take place by the sample, this evanescent or penetrated wave will be attenuated, or its uh, wavelength will be reduced. After one or several internal reflections, the IR beam exits the ATR crystal and is directed to the IR detector. To achieve a high quality spectrum, some requirements must be fulfilled. Good contact between sample and ATR crystal has to be ensured, as the evanescent wave penetrates only up to some microns into the sample. The refractive index of the crystal must be considerably higher than that of the sample, as the typical refractive indices for ATR crystals are between 2 to 4, and typical values for organic substances, for example polymers also, it range from 1.2 to 1.5. A large majority of IR active samples can be measured. So how it works, this diagram will show the working of this ATR. Here, when IR beam incidence on this sample, here the sample will be shown in the green part, and this yellow part is the ATR crystal. So what happens when it gets reflected back and reaches to the detector? So at the sample, here from ATR crystal, these radiation will be penetrated into the sample up to few microns, and then it will get reflected back. So these penetrated waves will be called as evanescent waves, and this depth of penetration and angle of incidence will be actually connected to each other. So ATR spectroscopy utilizes the phenomenon of total internal reflection. A beam of radiation entering a crystal will undergo total internal reflection when the angle of incidence at the interface between the sample and crystal is greater than critical angle. In this way, an evanescent wave penetrates into the sample in contact with the crystal, producing a spectrum of the sample. Here, the depth of penetration can be calculated, which is directly proportional to the wavelength uh, of the IR radiation and the refractive indices of your sample and the ATR crystal. This theta is the angle of incidence. So actually this wavelength of absorption is directly proportional to the depth of penetration. Which crystals or which materials can be used as sample cell in ATR? So these are the few examples like zinc selenium, zinc sulfide, germanium, silicon, diamond, etc. If you see the spectral regions at which they will work, so 500 to 20,000 per centimeter, 750 to 22,000 per centimeter for zinc sulfide. Here for germanium 600 to 5,000. For silicon it is 100 to 10,000 per centimeter, and for diamond it is 10 to 45,000 per centimeter. So our useful range is 650 to 4,000 per centimeter, which is very much covered by these all crystals. Refractive indices, as it plays major role in the working of ATR. So you can see that zinc selenium has refractive index 2.43, zinc sulfide is having 2.25, germanium is having the maximum refractive index, that is 4, silicon is having 3.42, near about 4 only, but 3.42 is also a high refractive index. Diamond is having 2.40. Depth of penetration at 45 degrees in all these crystals is different. Like in zinc selenium it is 1.66 micrometer, here it is zinc sulfide 1.54, germanium 0.65, silicon 0.81, and for diamond it is 1.66. Hardness, if we compare, the maximum hardness is with silicon 11,150, then diamond 9,000, then germanium 550, and zinc sulfide is with 355, and zinc selenium is 130. Zinc selenium is a common low cost material and ideal for analyzing liquids and soft samples. However, zinc selenium is prone to scratches and can only be used between pH 5 to pH 9. Germanium, with its high refractive index, is used to analyze highly absorbing samples like carbon black colored rubbers. If the highest surface sensitivity is required, like for thin layers, germanium yields good results due to the low depth of penetration. Diamond is very robust and chemically inert, making it an ideal crystal material for routine measurements with a wide range of possible samples. But the cost of the diamond will be more, as everyone knows. So even though the initial investment is higher, the cost of the ownership over the instrument lifetime is often lower, since diamond cannot be scratched and is completely insoluble. So if the cost initially is higher, but due to as it is a scratch resistant and it is completely insoluble, so maintenance of these germanium cells will be easy and it will be cost effective. The procedure for an ATR measurement is very easy. First, you have to clean the crystal with cellulose tissue with the help of isopropanol. Measure the background with the ATR unit. Then place the sample on the crystal, ensuring good contact, and then measure the sample. So how the exactly the ATR crystal looks, it is here. So here on this ATR crystal you can put your liquid sample or solid sample, and then you can start with the measurement. That is the IR radiation you can pass through this crystal as well as your sample. In ATR measurements, the thickness of the sample does not affect the intensity of the absorbance bands. In transmission mode, however, too thick samples lead to total absorbance. So in transmission mode, sometimes the total absorbance will take place due to the too thick sample layer, but here in ATR that is not the case. The thickness of the sample does not affect the intensity of the absorbance band. The effective path length through the sample is influenced by the penetration depth of the evanescent wave. This fact results in similar spectral intensities for samples of various thicknesses. The wavelength dependency of the penetration depth into the sample and the anomalous dispersion of the IR light result in some systematic differences between spectra measured using the ATR and the transmission technique. Sometimes it is possible that this spectra by ATR technique and transmission techniques will not be similar, but the observer intensities you are going to get through ATR is also accurate one. Major advantages of ATR technique are: it is faster sampling with no preparation. You don't require any skilled person to operate this ATR technique. Excellent sample to sample reproducibility. Minimal operator induced variations. So, in conclusion, most samples can be handled with a diamond ATR crystal that is almost universally applicable due to its chemical and mechanical robustness. Germanium can be used for special purposes, for example, for measuring highly absorbing samples or thin layers. Finally, the crystal material zinc selenium is a very cost efficient option for the analysis of liquids and soft solid samples.